All right, welcome back to the 6th hour. I'm your host, Ben Mahler, and we're diving back into the abyss of the unknown, fueled by your incredible and incredibly creepy stories. You guys certainly didn't disappoint after our last episode. More eerie encounters from you. First up tonight, we've got a story from Jessica in Burbank, right here in our neck of the woods. She writes, Ben, I work the overnight shift as a security guard at an old office building downtown. The scariest thing happened last month. I was doing my rounds on the 3rd floor, which is mostly empty, when I heard what sounded like a full office chatter, phones ringing, people talking, keyboards clacking, coming from one of the vacant suites. I froze, my heart pounding. It sounded so real, like a busy workday. I slowly walked towards the door, peeking through the glass. The room was dark, completely empty and silent. The moment I looked away, I heard it again, behind me this time. I literally sprinted out of there. I still get shivers thinking about it. From then on, things started happening during the overnight shift to the point my boss thought I was just being paranoid. One night, she decided to stay with me to humor me. She ran out of the middle of the night, and next day didn't say a word. She never stayed the night again. I soon quit after. I've heard the building has been cleansed and blessed by Archbishop Jose Horacio Gomez. Jessica, that's just terrifying. The idea of a phantom office operating in the dead of night, only to vanish when you look directly at it, that's some next level haunt. And the fact that it moved behind you, yeah, I'd be sprinting too. Thanks for that chilling dispatch from the front lines of the night shift. Next, we're heading over to the Midwest for a submission from Carlos in Murderapolis. Ben, my family, and I went on a camping trip last summer to the Afton State Park. We found a pretty secluded spot, far from the main campgrounds. The first night was great, classic campfire stories, s'mores, the works. But on the second night, things got strange. Around midnight, we all heard this incredibly loud, guttural scream come from deep in the woods, unlike anything I've ever heard. It wasn't an animal, at least not one I recognized. It sounded almost human, but distorted, filled with pure agony. It echoed through the trees. My kids were terrified, and honestly, so were my wife and I. We huddled in the tent, listening to the forest go completely silent afterwards. Not a cricket, not a bird, just dead silence. We packed up and left at dawn, didn't even finish our coffee. Still gives me the creeps thinking about what made that sound. Carlos, that's a prime example of why I prefer my camping to involve a comfy mattress and indoor plumbing. A guttural scream that silences an entire forest? That's not just a bear with a sore throat. That's something primal, something ancient, and definitely something you don't want to mess with. Good call on packing up and getting out of Dodge, my friend. Now, for our sponsor. It's my friend who thinks I'm a gorgeous man, the great Marlins Man. If you haven't heard, Marlins Man has worked hard his entire life and has a few bucks saved up in the bank. Now he's traveling all over the country attending Marlins games. He's looking for 1, 2, or 10 to accompany him to these games, and he has a contest. The catch is you have to be a woman and willing to put up with him. You also have to be gorgeous like myself and willing to be seen with him. To be honest, he's not the best looking fella and he knows it, so he needs someone as gorgeous as me to balance the scale, if you know what I mean. If you aren't fat, chubby, obese, and you're almost a model-type looking lady, please visit marlinsmancompanioncontest.com and submit your photos. Nudes are welcome, I think. Now back to our scheduled programming. These stories, like all the ones you've sent in, remind us that the world is a far stranger place than we often give it credit for, whether it's residual energy playing out an old workday, or something utterly unknown lurking in the depths of our wilderness. The veil between what we understand and what we don't seems to be thinner than we realize. We're staying in the Midwest for a story from Sarah in Des Moines. She writes, Ben, I've lived in my house for about 5 years, and it's always felt a little off. Nothing major, just little things. Things moving when I'm not looking, a cold spot in the hallway that no amount of heating can fix. But a few months ago, it got intense. I woke up one night to the sound of my dog, Buster, whimpering at the foot of my bed. He's a big German shepherd, not easily spooked. I looked down, and he was staring intently at the closet door. It was slightly ajar, which was weird because I always close it. Then I heard it, a whisper, clear as day, coming from inside the closet. It sounded like a child's voice calling my name. I froze. Buster started growling, a low rumble in his chest. I didn't dare move. After what felt like an eternity, the whispering stopped and Buster slowly relaxed. I still can't bring myself to open that closet door all the way. Wow, Sarah, that's some nightmare fuel right there. A child's voice calling your name from the closet, and Buster, bless his heart, acting like a guard dog against the unseen. It makes you wonder what was in there, doesn't it? Thanks for sharing that, Sarah. Next up, we have a quick one from Mark in Boston. Ben, this happened when I was about 10. My grandma lived in this old house, and her attic was always creepy. One summer night, I was staying over, and I swore I heard someone walking around up there. Not mice, this was heavy footsteps. I told my grandma the next morning, and she just smiled and said, "Oh, that's just your grandpa. He likes to check on things." My grandpa had been dead for 5 years. Chills, Mark, absolute chills. Grandma's casual reply just adds to the creep factor. "Oh, that's just your grandpa." Classic. It just goes to show you, sometimes the ones we love stick around, even if it's just to check on the attic. For our last sponsor before signing off, we have our listeners from Down Under. As you may have heard from our first episode in Australian news, the Great Emu War is back and the Aussie government is paying their citizens to kill and process emus. Well, Aussie Guy Aussie Waz and, I forgot to mention in our first episode, Aussie Momentum want to share their killings with the world. Oh shoot, YouTube doesn't allow the K word. Well, come find them on X, formerly Twitter, and use promo code Bill Miller, and you'll get 20% off for any part of the bird. If you buy the whole bird, it'll be an additional 35% off. Thank you, guys. Well, keep those stories coming, folks. If you've got an encounter with the unexplained, a brush with the paranormal, or just something that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, I want to hear about it. Send your tales to the6thhour@gmail.com, and you might just hear it on our next episode. Until then, stay vigilant, stay curious, and maybe double-check that closet door before you go to bed. This is Ben Maller signing off for The 6th Hour. Good night, Maller militias and listeners all over the world.